Gay marriage was a hot topic in Tacoma tonight. Presidential candidate Rick Santorum held a rally, and he was even glitter bombed.
But the protesters arrested were also angry over the economy. KIRO 7's Stacey Sakamoto has more from the Republican stop here in Western Washington. Stacey.
Steve, there were hundreds of Santorum supporters here, but the hecklers were right up front. We saw 2 men and a woman arrested.
It's great to be in the real Washington.
When Republican presidential candidate Rick Santorum started speaking, so did the heckling. Hundreds of people gathered outside the Washington State History Museum to hear the Pennsylvania senator, a staunch critic of the same-sex marriage bill signed into law by the governor today.
I know this is a very important day in Washington. In many respects, a sad day for many people. And we saw the law signed into here into Washington State.
That wasn't what brought the protesters out. They were part of the Occupy Tacoma movement, who say they were there to protest corporate corruption.
We kept yelling, who funds your campaigns?
Less than 10 minutes into Santorum's speech, we saw a scuffle break out in the crowd. That's when we saw Tacoma police move into the crowd and drag 2 men away.
They were both tased once they were down on the ground and cuffed, which I believe that wasn't right.
A woman was also arrested, police say, for throwing glitter at Santorum. He didn't let it disrupt his speech, and that scored points with the crowd.
Instead of standing here unemployed, yelling at somebody, to go out and get a job and work for a living.
I thought it was pretty darn good. Better than what we've got in right now.
A spokesman for the Tacoma Police Department confirms that at least one of the men was tased. The 3 could be charged with disorderly conduct or even assault.
You understand what this radical element represents. Because what they represent is true intolerance. That's what the Ninth Circuit said when they handed down the decision striking down Proposition 8. What they said was that anybody who disagreed with them were irrational, and that the only reason they could possibly disagree is that they were a hater or a bigot. About 1 in 3 Americans don't graduate from high school, and almost all of them, over 3/4 of them, will end up in poverty at some point in time in this country. We've got to provide an opportunity for them. Instead of standing here unemployed, yelling at somebody, to go out and get a job and work for them.